Welcome to the Six-Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hi, Lee. You ready to do another episode?
I'm ready, but I'm so scared because I'm in the hot seat.
Yes. So this is a flip. What's really interesting is I am pretty successful in fiction on Kickstarter and other places, and like my journey is trying to get fiction working because like nonfiction is working really well in our business right now. And Lee, you're on kind of the opposite journey, right?
Opposite journey. And I have your Kickstarter course up to learn about it. But last call or a couple calls ago, we talked about I had this idea for a nonfiction book and I showed it to y'all, you and Monica, and both of you were like, well, this is a Kickstarter. Like, what are you doing this as a Kickstarter? And it blew my mind because that's not how I think. I think I read a werewolf romance novel and I put it up on Amazon. And you think I do something really cool. You definitely have mastered Kickstarter. Don't tone that down. And you do such a cool project and many cool projects, and then you kickstart them. And we've been talking about your six-figure author experiment is Kickstarter proven success. And now take that product, take those books, put them on Amazon and other retailers. And I'm going, I've done the Amazon thing. Now it looks like I'm going to try the Kickstarter thing. So yeah, completely reverse the journey.
Yeah, this is awesome also because to me, the best use case for Kickstarter is nonfiction because nonfiction books, they don't sell great on Amazon. They just not like Amazon's not built for like the stack in the way that like direct sales is, where like there's courses and masterminds and all of this stuff. And just like most people that do fiction and nonfiction end up making significantly less on their nonfiction.
Yeah. I was going to put this book up for free or like 99 cents. Why? I'm going to do a talk at Inkers and then I think another conference in September. And I just did one in New Orleans. It was on a different subject, but mindset. And I'm going to do this one on millionaire author mindset. Just me, Lee Savino, talking about this. And I was like, well, let me collate all my thoughts and outline them. And then, hey, that's a book. So it was really going to be more like a white paper or like a couple pages, and like, this is what I think. And I'm not trying to make it a book, but Monica was like, dude, 30,000 words, resources, homework, to-do lists for people. And you've got a nice, 150, even 200 page with formatting sort of nonfiction work. And yeah, I agree. When you put up nonfiction, the idea is you're getting people to know you and then you can put them into your courses. But you're saying for a Kickstarter stack, you're offering a lot of things and you can just put the course right into what you're offering.
Absolutely. And best of all, you have one of the best things about Kickstarter is when you do it the way that we're going to talk about today is you get to figure out exactly what your best selling things are and what doesn't resonate before you start selling it to like the masses. So like, let's say you're like, I'm going to do a workbook and like 3 people buy it. You're like, I'm never doing a workbook again. Or like, wow, I did like a live call and like 300 people back that one. Maybe I should like do more hot seat stuff. And so it's like a little experiment where you can test all of these things. And that's how we've gotten most of how we operate our business comes from like the Kickstarter, not just because Kickstarter is such a foundational part of our business, but because like we get to screw around with things that we think are interesting and find out if they are worth investing in or not. So yeah, I'm really excited. One thing that I have to call you out on is right before this, you said that like you had to put a bunch of testimonials together to even get yourself to feel like you could do this. And like, you'd be like, you're Lee Savino, 7-figure author, but like you have your own mindset stuff to do, right?
So much mindset stuff. It all comes back to that though. Like when you're first starting out, when you're 100 books in, you face yourself and you have to go deep into yourself. And face your fears. And it is fear that is stopping you. And I was like, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this ad experiment with nonfiction stuff, and I've never really been able to get like nonfiction selling with ads. Like I've never really worked with it, but like I've also never made it work. And so like we finally started like seeing consistent returns the past week for the first time in like 2 months. And I'm like $25,000 into this experiment. And like but like I can see that it's like turning. Like we have the sales page operating right now. Like sales have been coming in at least 1 to 2 a day for like a week. And now I was on a call this morning. They're like, cool. Now we're going to start scaling it up and try and get you to like there's a couple of metrics that you use in ads, right? It's like you do your first $100, like $100 a month, $100 a week, $100 a day, $1,000 a day, like, and then you start scaling up from there. So like we're getting $100 a day. It's time to go for $1,000 a day. And that's like $500 a day ad spend to get to $1,000 a day. And like suddenly you're like, oh my God, like any day, like every day I'm going to get an ad receipt where like you've spent $1,000 eventually, but like you're then hopefully making $2,000 on that. It's exciting, but also like that mind now it's like you hit those blocks even when you're having success, right?
Absolutely. And you freak out. And some of it is it's unknown territory. Like I've never done a Kickstarter. And if you never spent a certain amount on ads, like even doing ads is scary if you've never done them, period.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's absolutely true. I talk about this. I was talking about this today because I am pretty open on this journey of like the ad thing. And I put like, I was like, okay, I'm spilling the tea. Here's everything that I spent. Here's everything that I made. And I'm like $23,000 in the hole right now as of like, probably maybe a little bit less now, but maybe it's like 22.9 or something. But like it's significantly in the hole because like you start from nothing and you like throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and then like some of it sticks and you then eventually like you start getting the winners to like emerge out of it, but like you have to throw a lot of stuff at the wall and then you have to like fix your landing page and you have to there's all these anyway, so like but like investment always comes before growth, like always. Like it doesn't matter if you're investing time, you're investing money, or you're investing both. And
Yep.
usually, and the more like at the beginning of your career, like it can almost happen all from your time. Also, you
Yes.
have just more time than money. But like over time, it's like like you can move so far because so few people expend effort. But then like everyone eventually, like everyone is the A student. Like everyone's like the person who's like the A go-getter. And it's like, well, money's not like time's not enough. Like everyone's spending the time. Like everyone's
Yeah.
writing great content. Like you're like, congratulations, you get to compete with Stephen King now. That's like your reward for like being a great like author. Like you now have to face the apparatus and literally everyone who's written before you. And so like it then takes money, then it takes more and more and more of both to like move incrementally ahead.
Yeah.
I learned this a while ago and it was like to go from the 99th percentile to the 98th percentile, all you need is the effort to go from like that 1 degree. But once you get to like the 10th, and like for the first 80%, it's pretty easy to go from like the first to the 80th percentile. But then
Yeah.
like you have to expend as much effort to get to the next percentile as you did to get to before. And so when you get to like, let's say the 90th or the 91st percentile, you have to expend all of the effort to get from the 90th percentile to get to the 91st. And then you have to expend all of the effort to get to the 91st percentile, then and again to get to the 92nd percentile. So it just becomes so much more effort and so much is required and like so much monetary or like energy investment to move what feels like inches.
Yeah. Just a little bit more. I think I've heard that example with like racehorses. And they're like, the winner gets it all. but it's like this much a fraction of a no, like he won by a nose, you know?
Right.
And that's why, do you love it? Becomes a really important question. In the beginning, when you have nothing and you have no reason to believe in yourself, besides the fact that you love it and you were put on this earth to do something, you might as well do something fun, something that sounds interesting, something that sounds awesome, something that the love will be there. And this is what an Olympic athlete asks themselves, like, how many times am I going to hit this tennis ball against the wall?
Right.
And if it's your preferred way of like being in the zone, then that's it. For me, writing. And also I'm loving this podcast because I love showing up and talking to other authors and other creators. So there's the love here. And when I look at, doing this Kickstarter, it's because I am excited about this. I'm going to go talk at Inkers. I'm going to go stand on stage and talk about it. I can put all those notes into something. I wanted to give it to people. And when especially it comes to nonfiction, the question you ask yourself is, who am I helping? Who has an acute problem and they're up at night Googling about it? And do you have an answer for them that can move them even a little bit and fix one pain point for them? And my story, my journey was, I graduated with an English degree. All of my professors were teachers. They were writing weird literary fiction stuff. I didn't even want to write that, but I did not see a model for how to make a living as a writer, how to make a living from my books. I didn't really want to be a travel blogger. I didn't really want to write for newspapers. I wanted to write fiction. I wanted to write genre fiction. I'm lucky enough that I want to write werewolf fiction because, dude, that's a really lucrative genre. But I didn't know that then. I had 4 years of a degree and wrote a werewolf romance novel and then quit. I was like, I don't know what to do. I tried to get an agent. I got one rejection letter and quit. Right. And it was 2008. And if you know what happens in the Kindle sphere in that time period, you would know that if I had just kept Googling, if I had just read enough live journals or found the GeoCities like websites where people were talking about, what is that? What was that original, the OG site? I mean, the Kindle was coming out and then it was Words.
Yeah.
I would have found it. I would have found a way to get my book in the hands of readers. And then I would have been so happy. Dude, I would have worked at a coffee shop and then just written. When I finally got over myself, when I finally decided I could do this thing, and it actually took some hypnotherapy. In November 2014, I walked out of that office going, I'm going to be an author and I'm going to figure it out. And the way for me was indie. And it turns out I love being indie. I worked with a publisher in 2015. I just kept moving forward and I was so happy. And the money didn't even come in until 2017, but I was so happy and I was so focused. I convinced my husband to like support me. And there is another woman in her 20s who loves writing, maybe loves writing werewolf romance, and she is hurting and she hates working a job. And this career is perfect for her. And I can give her some of the know-how. I can like ease her pain and I can move her forward onto her journey. And I did. I had to go and get people saying how I've helped them. Because there are people that say, you're my mentor. Thank you so much. And I don't even talk to them. They just watch random during the pandemic. I was doing some Facebook Lives and they were like, this really helped me. I wasn't even an author. And so I went and people were saying, thank you so much.
This is going to be great Kickstarter fodder too, like on the page. Like this is what you put on. These things are the things that you put on the page. And you've said, so you've done a really good job of like, I think articulating it. But to me, even though I think Tundra is like the ideal thing to maximize Kickstarter, I think that the most fun use generally is to harness your inner aquatic. So like, I think you'll have the most fun doing it. Most people have the most fun because aquatics are the event planners. Like they are the experiential fun time. They want to make everyone feel loved and appreciated. And like they want to create this experience that people are going to talk about. I had a friend, she wrote a book called Cake in Bed, and she did a whole red carpet premiere for her like thing at like a book's like this was years ago now, but I still remember like her big thing was, it was like one of the things was you got a ticket to like the premiere of the book, and it was like a whole red carpet thing in Los Angeles. And I'm like, that is what I picture when I think of like like a Kickstarter thing. Tundras are very good at saying, how do I maximize profit? But mostly I think that falls on deaf ears with like authors, because when they're like, well, if I want to maximize profit, especially someone that's been as successful as you, is like, I'm going to go write a werewolf book.
Yeah,
And like,
really.
I know
sure.
how much I'll make from that. So like, I don't think I'm going to. So when I talk to people, especially about nonfiction, like nonfiction is all such an experience, is more experiential in the way that you can bring people deeper through masterminds and through live coaching and just things that you can't really, like, there's just not a mastermind equivalent in like fiction. So I'm gonna say, like, I think that we should be, when we think about this campaign, harnessing your inner aquatic. How does that feel to you?
It sounds great. I love the water, but you're talking about the author ecosystems that you
Yes.
guys developed with the writer MBA. And my name tag in New Orleans said forest when I took the little quiz. I don't know if I
Sure.
just like forest.
No, well, I think that so here is the thing about the author ecosystem. We all inhabit, they all exist within us. So like there's a desert, all of these things. And like you're very successful already. So like you've made it through the stage 4 to 5. So it's really important to like work on your own ecosystem to get through to stage 4, because up until that, stage 0 is you're not doing anything. Stage 1 is I'm overwhelmed. Stage 2 is I'm doing stuff. It's all the wrong stuff. Stage 3, though, is when you're like, I see a glimmer of success. I have a thread, but I'm doing all this other garbage that like is not moving my career forward. But then like what happens is you streamline all of those things and you're like, I did all, like I am like I'm like a laser. Like I am maximizing my tundra ecosystem. And that's when when you're at a stage 4, you expand out and you need to incorporate more things into your ecosystem, because you will cap out if you just do one thing. Like there's a maximum you can make on Amazon. There's a maximum that like Facebook ads will spend. I have so many friends who are like, I cut my ad spend by half and I make the same amount because it just there's an amount of
Yeah.
money. It's just like the diminishing returns will happen.
Yeah.
And so you have to start adding things like events or different kinds of ads or making a movie, or like there has to be different things to that like incorporate all of the ecosystems. So like you are a very evolved ecosystem human. And so I think that like what happens to me in the mornings is I often say, I'm going to inhabit my inner this today. Or like, I'm
Mm.
going to inhabit my inner. So like, we need to put on our event planner hats and our experiential hats and be like, how can we make this the best like encapsulation for people that love your teaching that we can?
I love it.
Awesome. Okay. So I love this cover.
Okay.
This is very, you sent me a mood board with your favorite colors, and then you sent me like this thing, and I was like, oh, this is all your favorite colors in one thing.
Yeah, it
So
is.
you want to tell people who are listening a little bit about the cover and why you chose it and kind of what's going on here?
Yes. So I do have a course called the 7-Figure Author course, and I had multiple people make graphics for it. And then Aaron at Casmet Covers made this for me kind of as an afterthought. I was like, you do my covers. Can you do this? And he found this beautiful turquoise typewriter. And I have a purse that is a turquoise typewriter, and everyone compliments me on it. And I was like, I love turquoise and I love purple. I pretty much gave him the color purple, and then he ran it from there. So my cover says Millionaire Author Mindset, and it has turquoise. It's basically the course emblem on the book cover.
Right.
I'm trying to get a little bit more. My branding is all over the place because I'll just go into Canva and find something and throw it up there. And one of the things I noticed as I studied more very successful course people, which is very different from the werewolf romance people or romance novel people, is, their website is a lot of pictures of them, and their website all has very tight branding. And then everything they offer is branded more tightly. And my stuff is not. So that's something I can fix. So visually, it's pretty. It's something Instagrammable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is a blend of millionaire author mindset is, what did I do to become a millionaire author, which are tactics. But the biggest thing I did was I shifted my mindset because I really did not think I could make a living as a writer. And then I did some things to change my mind, because until I did that, I did nothing. And once I did that, I was publishing books immediately. I had books that I'd written. I just was working a job I hated and thinking I could never be an author. And then I said, I'm not going to do this and be Grandma Moses, author edition. I'm not going to wait until I've had kids and worked all my life at a job I hated and then finally make the art. I'm just going to do it now. And I think I made $50 my first month on Amazon, and I was so happy. I didn't know how to upload anywhere else than Amazon either. So, but I loved it. I was an author. I was doing what I was meant to do. It felt right. So that's what this book is going to be about. And I'm going to start with stories. Like, what are the stories that I can tell that will teach these mindset, very practical things? And I also want to cover some of the tactics I did, but really tie it into mindset, because getting your books into German translations might not work for you. It worked really well for my romance novels. It might not work at all for you. And it's more about, are you open? Are you looking for opportunities than it is go hire a German translation or hire an agent who finds you a publisher in Germany. So that's what the book is going to be about. I've done multiple talks already on this too. So I'm going to pull from that outline.
Awesome.
And then I started to think about Kickstarter, because that's completely new. So on Kickstarter, it looks like you have a stack, meaning you have a bunch of offers.
Sure.
And then people can pick and choose what they want from the buffet.
Yes. So we've helped a lot of of coaches, and we've kind of refined this stack over time. So I'm going to spill the beans on all the best rewards that we have found. What I really love about this book is it's clearly like you're using romance lettering, it's a very it feels like you're going to this. It's like RAM in a book. I don't know. I went to RAM a couple of years ago, and it was
it's
it was
romance author masterminds. It's flowers. There's purple flowers on the typewriters, guys.
Yes. So you're not just right. One of the issues that people have when they do nonfiction is I'm going to talk to writers, and it's cool. There's roughly one of every 2 humans on Earth wants to be a writer, and of those, there's 6 main genres, or 6 or 10 main genres, and then there's fiction and nonfiction, and what kind of writer are you going to talk to? What kind of, and you will find, especially when you dig down to romance, they have a higher propensity to want to make this a career. There's a lot of not to drag on memoirists, but a lot of memoirists are just I want my book out. I'm not they want to write the one book in their life, and then they're not looking to make this a whole thing. And so you are clearly talking to people who probably read your book, at least are in the general oeuvre of what you do, and also it, and to that it fits perfectly. I don't know if a military sci-fi X GI is going to be wonderful, but that's not who the ideal person is.
I knew that going in. I resisted branding with more quote unquote feminine colors. Not that the hard-bitten GI is going to be afraid of a couple purple roses on a turquoise typewriter, but I definitely, my first course branding was awful. My second course branding was like black and white and red, which I love. I wear that a lot, but it definitely had a more masculine look. And this is really embracing. I'm glad you pointed this out. It's something I'm doing unconsciously, but it's something I'm excited about. And when it comes to imagery, it is unconscious. Your brain is able to take in the image and it makes a decision within like a fraction of a second versus
Right.
reading comes from a higher, the cerebral cortex and it's slower. So that's why covers are so important because your branding gets across so quickly and they will just scroll on. They won't even read. So
Right.
yeah, I might be missing out on the hard sci-fi military people. That's okay. Um, I'll get some of them because they'll like the message of make a lot of money.
Right.
But yeah, it's gonna hit the romance authors. It's gonna, more importantly, I described a customer avatar earlier. Let's call her Fiona. I described a young woman who loves writing and loves reading and is writing and goes, what now? Because she doesn't really want a job. She doesn't really want a career. Maybe she's like me. She's a little bit, on the ADHD spectrum or something. She's neurodivergent. She doesn't want to work in an office. And what does she do for a living? And this is an option. And I want to reach her. So I
Right.
want to talk to Fiona. And that's what this book is going to be written to her
Yes.
to
And
help.
so there are two things that define like your ideal customer avatar. I know you know this, Lee, but I'm going to tell everyone else. Like
But no, tell me because I forget. Yeah.
one is the lowest customer acquisition cost, and two is the highest customer lifetime value. And so, like, your book is really written to the intersection of those two people, or should be. Like, a great nonfiction book or a great fiction book will be tailored to the person who is immediately going to say yes and like then buy 500 things from you later. Like, we'll come to your mastermind, we'll do all of that stuff. Like,
Mhm.
so you will get like people who are casual fans or people who are like, well, like I like I don't know, like I'll read every book on the subject of like author growth. And so they'll read the book or like they might hate read the book, whatever. But like
Yeah.
the idea, like you have to find it's so important in nonfiction to find the person who's going to resonate the deepest with the thing you have to say. One of the things that we found with Monica and I is like we have very, very different humans. Like, not that it's a human, but like the bee right behind me represents like my ideal customer avatar, like anti-authoritarian, rebellious, like snarky, like no nonsense. Like I'm my next nonfiction book is going to be called like how to thrive as a writer in a capitalist dystopia. So it's like the
Yeah.
opposite branding as like this thing, but like they
Yeah, for
both
sure.
work. Monica likes to talk about like she really loves Elizabeth Gilbert. So like a lot of if you look at her branding, like it's very like Elizabeth Gilberty, big magic, like the world needs your passion, like that's and mine is much more like Mark Manson's, like the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Like
Yes.
and like those are both incredibly successful like nonfiction authors with completely differing brands, but like there are people in the middle. Like I love both of them, but
Yeah.
like um there are you need to pick a track is basically what I'm saying, and I love that you did.
Yeah. So I would be the purple capitalist pig on your to your to your left that has like he's on mushrooms or she's psychedelics or something.
Oh,
Or
that's
having
Lucifer.
she's having
That's
a panic attack.
that
Okay. Okay.
that's Lucifer and Moober from Lucifer Licorice, one of my favorite comics we've ever done.
Oh, okay. For those of you listening, we're talking about the art on Russell's
Yes.
wall.
Yes. And so, but the more you can double down on that stuff, the better it's like counterintuitive to like, in order to hit to help the most people, I have to brand well enough that the more I can niche down, the better. Like, and that does not mean niche, like make a book that's like the millionaire author mindset in Cabo that likes potatoes in like it's not like that kind of niche, but like even if you have like a wide, let's say pretty million, most author, like a healthy amount of authors want to be the millionaire author mindset. You could have done this 100 different ways, but like I feel like when I look at this, I'm like, oh, like absolutely, like everything I know about Lee is like that's her brand.
Yay, I'm getting it right. Also, I think I have 2 avatars. And to that end, I think what you're saying is you try to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
when you focus and you talk to somebody, then the message will get out. And the people who are right for you, who will love you, will find you. And then you'll reach more than just them
Right.
and help more people, but or they might hate read your book, which is fine too. I'll
Well,
take their money.
I mean, one of the things I did a workshop the other day, and they were like, you know, if you speak to the 99, are you speaking to the 99% who won't buy your thing? Are you speaking to the 1% that will? And like the messaging is like so important to, because like if you speak to the 1%, then you're setting the bar for like everyone below this can get above that bar, but so many people set the bar really low, and then they like everyone's above that bar and they're like, oh, I'm not going to be helped by you. But like if you set the bar really high, you can pull people up, but you
Yeah,
can't like if you put it too low, then there's no one to pull up to be in that 1%.
I love it.
So
That was so good. I want you to repeat it. Are you speaking to the 99% who aren't going to buy your creation, or are you speaking to the 1% that will?
absolutely. And like that is true for there's a different 1% across like if I was like, do you want the millionaire author mindset? Like literally everyone would be like, of course I want to like be a millionaire author, but like that does not mean that they all will. And this is the really interesting thing about nonfiction. Not everyone will hear your message, will be ready to hear your message the way that you are saying it. Like so many people will be like, maybe they need to hear it from me or you
Yes.
or Monica or Renee or Becca or one of any other. Maybe they need it packaged in a different thing. And like, even if you're saying the same thing, so many people like have either suddenly had a breakthrough when I talked to them or like had a breakthrough when someone else talked to them. And I'm like, I said the literal same thing. Like sometimes, especially on a panel, sometimes you're in a panel and like, just like you all say roughly the same thing. And like someone will resonate with just the literal words that you say will be in the right order for them at that moment.
Yeah, that I love that. It helps with imposter syndrome. Denise Duffield Thomas, whom I love, she says, listen, I'm not the only voice in this space, but I am one of them and I have something to say. And it's like a patchwork quilt. And all together, she says, I can add to it.
Right.
And I asked that too when I started to write romance novels. There are a lot of romance novels, guys. There are tons of romance novels published today. Why am I adding to that? Well, they're my romance novels. This is what I have to say. And so if you're listening and you need some help with that, that really helped me. And I did have to face my fears. I had to go, well, I have something to say. And having that clear picture of Fiona in mind is helping. I also have Carolyn in mind, and she is an author and she has figured a lot of things out. Dude, if you've written a book, that's a huge hurdle that a lot of people don't get past. But she's done that. Maybe she has 7 books out. But she's like, how do I sell more? How do I make this into a living? What do I do? Also, I have to go pick up my kids from school right now and then we'll be at their soccer games. What the heck, dude? And so those are my 2 avatars. And I have things to say. I can help both of them. And I'm going to put them all in this book.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're talking a lot of psychographics, and I love psychographics. I don't like demographics. Like, I don't think demographics are helpful at all. But I think psychographics are really. We talked about. Should I
Yeah,
say
I
what?
don't know what that is. I think
Okay.
it has to do with the psychedelic Lucifer pig, but okay. Yeah. Psychograph.
So demographics are like age, weight, height, serial number, like the things that you normally that you've always been told that how to market a thing. Like it's for like 18 to 34-year-old cowboy werewolf hippies who like live in San Antonio. And like I find that to be wholly unhelpful when like actually thinking about who's going to read a book. as opposed to psychographics are like so like demographics are a lot of external things. Psychographics are like internal things that are going on inside the person. So like I have found readers from 11 to like 100, like 111, probably not 111, they'd be very brittle, but like a very wide range of people, of ages, sexes, like where in the world, like internationally, but like they all kind of have the same like screw you attitude towards like thing, like they like have this kind of rebellious chip on their shoulder, like practical, no nonsense, like nature. And like they like my books because of like that's the kind of attitude that I bring to them. And like across 40 novels and all of my nonfiction, like my universal fantasy is the same, and the people that like it like can generally fit the same psychographic profile, even though they have nothing to do with demographically together.
That's awesome, because I just realized I run the six-figure strategy course with Nick every year. We'll see about this coming year, but he has on the strategy sheet, like, what's your branding? Like, what's your intention? And mine, I realized, was the same for my novels and my nonfiction. And that was a cool realization. I write books about women finding their power.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, I write books and make courses about women finding their power.
So,
And the books, they're with, on an alien planet with a werewolf. And then the nonfiction is them going on this journey.
so this is a very strong forest vibe. We talked about aquatic vibe, but like forests tend to have the same thematic elements no matter what they write. In fact, they tend to write a lot of things often because they're like, oh, my thing is giving agency to people who feel like they're having it taken away. But like, I see how to do that in a thriller. Oh, this is a really, I'm telling this story 100 times, but like, I need to pull people in from all of these different, oh, here's a way to do it as a romance. Here's a way to tell the same story as like a fantasy. Here's a nonfiction thing. And so forests tend to really like thematically weave the same story. And they're the ones who, when people say, I normally don't like blank, but I like when you write it. Like that is like the classic forest thing, because they're telling the same thematic story just over all of the books that they do.
We had this conversation in New Orleans before breakfast.
Yeah.
I remember now. Thank you for reminding me. And yeah, you're right. This is why I don't necessarily do well writing to trend, because someone says, oh, you should write Academy romance. And I'm thinking, what do I have to say? What do I have to say on that subject? Whereas they're thinking, let me jump on this trend. And they did really well actually doing it. And now I've thought up an Academy romance because I thought of something to say.
Right, exactly. And I'll bet it's thematically similar to the other stuff
It's
that you do.
totally, it's like Hermione goes to magical Olympus, Hogwarts,
Sure.
and
I read
finds her
that book.
power.
Sure, absolutely. So, and like, so this is where like it actually, I market my nonfiction to my fiction readers, because thematically it is the same story. Like I am helping you find ways to get agency in a world that's trying to take it away. And I have a lot of like writers who read my books because like it's a very like the overflow is just very high because like it's similar. So that I would say as a Kickstarter, people kind of have like two different avatars for fiction and nonfiction. Like I'm not saying you should combine them, but often for forests, they get a lot of, hey, look, I'm over here. I'm doing this thing. Like if you've ever thought about writing, guys, I'm doing a thing, and they end up having a lot of spillover. I probably wouldn't spend like a ton. Like I will send 1 or 2 emails during a nonfiction campaign to my fiction. I'm not sending them 20 emails about it. I'm saying like, hey, if you've ever thought about being a writer, like, here's a thing, and you like my writing, maybe you'll like this. And then like, hey, just so you know, it's ending. So maybe like if you wanted to do it, but so like it's something to consider, not that you should or shouldn't do it. I know so that's what I want to do first.
Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.